All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode, a special episode, episode 21 of Sports with Skiz. It's crazy. We're 21 episodes in already right now, and the season just keeps flying by. We're going to be talking about week 9 and the games that we like this week. But before we kick it off with this, we're going to transition into a different universe that we're not really talking about right now. But, Knock, what are your thoughts on what's going on in the NBA right now?
I have a tweet. I will throw it up right here as I'm speaking about it. December 26, 2024, I threw up a tweet. How is Chauncey Billups a coach in the NBA? Now know I was headed in the right direction because it just made no sense, bro. I was telling my boy Dion earlier. I watch so many Blazer games just because they're on late. I'm a sicko just like you are, and they just folded. Like fourth quarter comes, they're winning the game. They're the better team, and just like, hey, let's stop. Terry Rozier, he lost me a fuck ton of money last season too. So whatever happens to him, I won't be too mad. I just I'll keep it light. This is it's really bad what's going on in the NBA right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I pay attention to the NBA more so like towards the playoffs. Obviously, Pittsburgh doesn't have a team. I like Braun, he's getting older, but I don't follow the NBA as much as I used to. But seeing the clips of Terry Rozier getting just turning the ball over, shooting air balls, like it couldn't have been more blatant. Like it looks like that dude, what Porter's brother from Toronto that got hit with this too. It's crazy. And then I saw some tweets about Chauncey Billups, and it looked like a lot of his stuff was like mafia related as well too. Like even in the casinos, they were playing on tables that had like X-ray scanners, and people were watching them and could see the cards when they were like face down. And there was like one instance, I think he won like 50 grand, bro. Imagine playing at that table. I would be pissed off about that.
Yeah, bro, especially when those guys are already making millions in the NBA. I'm being super nice about it right now because what I want to say can't be said. So I'm just gonna let it simmer. Shout out Kevin Durant. Go fuck yourself. You don't care about our parlays. Now we know why. 3 points in two overtimes. Your over was 23 and a half, KD. I'm watching now. I'm watching.
Mm. Yeah, last thing about it too, just Chauncey Billups. I don't know if you remember those books that they have in libraries. I specifically remember the first one I saw. My oldest sister was studying for the SATs, and it said SAT for Dummies. So I think Chauncey should write a book that's called How to Tarnish Your Legacy for Dummies. Because what an idiot! He made so much money playing, coaching. I don't understand how you get mixed in with these groups of people to do shit like this.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it is what it is, man. He's a good ball player. NBA champion, and like you said, twice. So whatever.
Legacy tarnish. But we will jump into it. Like I said, week 9 of college football. It's crazy. We're almost at week 10, which is wild to think about. There were some games that were played already this week. That is one thing that I love about college football getting later into the weeks. You just have random ass Conference USA matchups. Tuesday and Wednesday. Maction, I think, should be kicking off next week as well, too. But Knock, go ahead and get us started, man. What's the first game of this weekend that you are looking forward to?
Guys, typically we start out with the Division 1, the big schools, but I want to go. I want to go down a little bit. I want to talk about University of Wisconsin at Platteville. Yeah, University of Wisconsin Platteville. They're pretty cool. They have like a Blue Mountain State kind of look. This orange and blue. It's a little bit in reverse. Part of the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. They are the Pioneers. They're 5-1, Mike. Why is that a big deal? They play Wisconsin Whitewater. If you watch college football, you know throughout our lifetime, the University of Wisconsin Whitewater has been an excellent, excellent program. They win, they are winners. Let me talk about Platteville for a moment, okay? They have a quarterback, Nathan Uselding, okay, the sophomore from Fort Washington, Wisconsin. He's got 1,400 yards passing on the year. Solid, okay? Their head coach, Ryan Munns, 24-11 record. They're ranked 11th, while Whitewater is ranked ninth. This is a sleepy good program, Mike. They're usually above 7 wins a year. If I went back their history over the last 10 years, they don't lose. Like this is not a losing program by any means. They were 9-2 last year. This is going to be an extremely big ball game for them. Like I said, we know who Wisconsin Whitewater is. They always have and always will be a powerhouse in that conference, obviously in that division. Wisconsin Whitewater, 34 points a game. They only give up nine. Okay. 1,500 yards on the ground as a team, only 1,000 through the air. So they just pound and ground, run it down your throat kind of football team. But the quarterback, Justin Klinkner, 2 interceptions. So while he doesn't have too many passing yards through the air, this is a team that doesn't make mistakes. Listen, Pioneers are home here. You know me, Mike. I'm taking the underdog.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, Wisconsin Whitewater, man, that's one hell of a Division III program. In the last 20 years, since 2005, they've won the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference 15 times, which is wild. And then for a little while there, they were going back and forth, pause with Mount Union in between like who was winning the national championships from '09 to 2014. They won a national championship in '09, 2010, 11, 13, and 14. And then not to mention they do produce some NFL talent, more specifically and most recently, Quinn Miners, I believe his last name is, the offensive lineman from the Denver Broncos. So don't think you can't go D3 and not make it to the league. That dude was a third round draft pick, the 98th overall, and he signed a big ticket, I believe, last year, a 4-year extension worth $80 million. So shout out to Wisconsin Whitewater. I love the information that you have there. I love that you're going with this game. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to go with Wisconsin Whitewater just for the bias. I love the purple and black, and they're just a strong team. They're a strong college. I don't think they are a university, excuse me. So let's go Wisconsin Whitewater.
Like
Moving on to me, I am going to switch over to the Division I realm just for right now. My first game of the week that I'm really looking forward to. I wouldn't say it's going to be on a lot of people's radar, but the University of Virginia traveling to North Carolina. It is UVA minus 10.5. Right now, Virginia is on a mission, especially offensively. I know last week it was kind of a weird game, excuse me, with winning on a safety against Washington State. Mind you, Washington State did go down to Ole Miss and almost beat them as well too, so they've been playing a little bit tough. But for the season, Virginia is averaging 40 points per game, and Chandler Morris has been very, very good. He's completing just under 70%. 11 touchdowns is 1-2. They're not really one-dimensional. They can run and they can pass the ball. They show consistent execution on both sides. So for the pass, they're averaging 258 yards, and for the run, they're averaging 203. Jameer Taylor, love this running back. He has 512 yards and 8 tutties on the ground. And then Terrell Harris, Jamal Erdrine, and Cam Ross have been probably some of the most versed wide receivers in the country. They all have over 25 receptions and over 325 yards on the season. I'm not too sure if you know this guy's name, Knock, but Jameer Carter, defensive tackle for the Cavaliers. Love this guy. Big nose tackle for him, defensive tackle. The biggest thing that I love about him is he wears the face mask from the late 2000s or from the late 90s into the early 2000s with the bar coming right down the middle. It's just a Rev 360 though, so it looks a little bit cooler, but he's a big dude. I love him on the defensive side. Switching over to UNC right now. Where the hell do we start with them? They're struggling up and down. Their coach is getting videos leaked of his girlfriend bossing him around in marketing meetings and stuff like that. I don't know if you've seen that, but they have yet to beat a power conference team with their 2 wins coming against Charlotte and Richmond. Their offense fucking sucks, Tanaka. There's no easy way to put it right now. It fucking sucks. Listen to these stats right here. You know I'm a stats guy. Take a look at this. Overall yards per game, 268. That's 133rd in the nation. Passing, 163. 121st in the nation, excuse me. Rushing, 105 yards. That's 124th in the country. And scoring at just under 19 points per game. That's 124th in the country. There's 136 teams in the nation, and they rank in that lower half in everything. Gio Lopez, has sucked. He's been very underwhelming. Hasn't even been able to hit 600 yards yet. I know he was benched. I know he missed some games with injuries, but holy shit, you would have thought that they got one of the best transfers from South Alabama last year, and he has looked the complete opposite. The only bright spot on the offense really has been Demon Jones and Jordan Ship, excuse me, the wide receiver. Couple of stats here for you, Knock. Virginia ranks ninth in defensive third down percentage, allowing opponents to convert at just 51%. North Carolina ranks 124th on offense, converting at 32.4%. North Carolina is also -2 in the turnover margin, while Virginia is top 30 at +4. So give me UVA. I know they're going on the road. I think that they're going to want to look to bounce back very, very strongly. Right now, they are at the top of the ACC. They're looking really good. They know they could see a clear path to Charlotte. Give me UVA.
Oh yeah, I mean UVA, no question about it. Like you said, North Carolina, they don't just suck. They're bad for a Pop Warner league, bro. I'm telling, they're bad,
Hmm.
awful. Gio Lopez, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that car accident he got into before the season got him. I don't know what's going on with this dude. He was supposed to be one of those guys to help change the program around with Bill Belichick, and they have completely shit the bed. With that being said, something about Virginia, they're sneaky because they're top 10 in the nation in scoring at 37 and a half points per game. So Chandler Morris is the catalyst. He's the leader. He's the number one guy. He has been awesome this year. I will say this about Virginia, though. I don't think it'll be this week. They are due for some sort of slight regression. They've been awesome this year, but over the last 2 weeks, it's like they're a good team because they're finding ways to will to themselves to victory. 22-20 over Washington State last week. I think they won that game on a safety, like
Yep.
of the game. That's pretty weird. That doesn't happen often. So like I can see they're becoming gassed and running out of juice. But I mean, North Carolina, that's going to be somebody they run through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've kind of we're just continuing to beat a dead horse in UNC and Chapel Bill, but just disgusting. I saw a Penn State decommit has taken a visit to North Carolina. I just don't understand why, to be honest with you. That would not be on a school to go to. I get learning from Bill Belichick would be cool, but I think at this point, just seeing how everything's going, it's more of a facade thinking that he's going to turn, that program around. I think they're going to need a little bit more help than a 74-year-old guy.
Agreed. Agreed 100%. This guy's washed. He's another person that has just absolutely destroyed his name. Um, but again, beating at a dead horse. This is weekly for us now. Like they need to.
Yep, absolutely not. Go ahead, kick us off. Oh, go ahead.
Interesting fact in in England. Okay, there's college football, like our college football, like American football played in England, college football, hundreds of teams, and you get relegated. So when you have a bad season, or if you're a bad team, you have a great season, you move up, things like that. So like I saw something interesting on it. I might have sent it to you on Instagram. Check it out. It's pretty sweet though. There's college football in other countries. Let me kick it off with the Mountain West. All right, as my second pick. Mike, isn't it always nice when the Mountain West is just good competitive football?
Hmm.
State, Fresno State. What the hell, right? Like San Diego State, let me tell you guys something, has completely turned the program around. I mean, they were 5-7 last year, but they were an abysmal 5-7 last year. They sucked on offense, sucked on defense. They're 5-1 already this year. But again, they're facing another team kind of in a familiar situation. Fresno State was 6-7 last year. They're 5-1 this year. Um, Two quarterbacks, one for San Diego State, Jaden Denegal, 1,100 yards passing, only 7 touchdown passes, but just a mere 2 interceptions. And lucky enough for them, they've got a good running back. You know what his name is, Mike? Lucky Sutton. He leads all rushers on the team with 531, 6 touchdowns, 5.1 yards per carry. He's got over 1,000 total yards or I'm sorry, San Diego State runs the football. They've got over 1,000 yards as a team collectively. And on the defensive side of the ball, we talk about Trinidad Chambliss for Ole Miss. Well, how about linebacker Owen Chambliss? 50 tackles on the year. He leads the team. And Chris Johnson, not the Chris Johnson that we know about, and not Chris Johnson for SMU. Chris Johnson, the best corner on their team with 3 interceptions, 5 pass breakups on the year. Don't try to throw to his side of the ball. However, he's going to have tough competition because on the other side for Fresno State, Josiah Freeman, 6'3", wide out, 3 touchdowns on the year. That's going to be a nice matchup. I'm interested in watching that. Uh, now, listen, I like Fresno. I've spoken on them quite a bit this year, actually, more than I thought that I would have. It's EJ Warner, Kurt Warner's son. I'm a fan of things like that sometimes, depending on the situation, I guess. But he's been super inconsistent this year. 10 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's got over 1,000. Or Fresno State also runs the ball pretty well too. They collectively have 1,000 yards on the ground. Um, Look, this is a toss-up game. From my standpoint, I'm going to take Fresno State, and this is really not the way you should look at it, but this is the way my mind has been corrupted, Mike. San Diego has not just won their last 4 games, but they've covered in their last 4 games. Give me the dogs as a dog. Fresno State money.
I like it. I like it. And I like this game a lot too. San Diego State, there's just always something about them. Even though they run more of like a pro style offense, I think last year they were kind of missing their run game. They've always leaned pretty heavily on that. You saw it with Penny, who used to go there, who went to the Seahawks for a while. Was it Rashad Penny? Yeah. You've seen it whenever he played there. The Aztec helmets, they're always just such a great team. They got a new stadium now too that looks very beautiful for the size and the capacity of what it is there. I do like Lucky Sutton as well too. What a great name for him to have. One of the things that I really, really like about San Diego State, and that's who I will be going with in this game. So we'll have ourselves, a little standoff here, a little California divide. But I love their defense. Their defense is phenomenal. They rank in the top 21 in every statistical category here. And like you said, they have been covering. One of the things that I do like, and I'm big on this, is the turnover margin. San Diego State's +4 on the year. With Fresno State, obviously, you talked about EJ Warner having trouble, taking care of the ball. They're at -3 right now, and they're ranked 101 in the country. So I do like the Aztecs. The Fresno State Bulldogs, I do like them as well, too. They have a sick little stadium. They have some nice uniforms as well. So there's going to be a lot of red in this matchup here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair too.
Mm, okay. All right. I like that. I like that. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see a little California shootout, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. I will be tuning in for that. And I do like those games. The games that are on FS1. Shout out to FS1. I don't know what it is. It feels like they're on crack sometimes.
Shout out Gus Johnson because he's the one who makes it. He brings it to life, man. Gus Johnson,
Hmm.
he needs to stay here forever. Immortal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somehow, some way, we need to get it. So,
I do think Gus is one of the best underappreciated announcers in the game that we have. So me and you are on that same side there. Moving over to my next game that I'm really liking here. I know we've talked about him a lot, Knock, but I had to bring him in here again. Baylor Bears going on the road to Cincinnati. Cincinnati 5.5 over under 66.5. Let's start with Baylor here. High powered offense, 486 yards per game. That's 11th in the FBS. And they're behind Sawyer Robertson, who I believe, if he doesn't lead the country in passing, he leads everybody in the Big 12. I know that they do have the most passing yards in Division One that they're averaging right now in the country. And how could you not be slinging the pill when you got a guy at tight end like Michael Trigg, who's obviously, not obviously, but I think he's one of the best, if not the best, tight end in the country. At Baylor, he's made some crazy snags over a couple of games, but then they also disperse the ball as well too. They have 4 players, including Michael Trigg, with at least 27 catches while also having over 375 yards receiving. So Sawyer Roberts doesn't really have one specific favorite target of his. He likes to spread the wealth right now too. And then Bryson Washington, even though they are very high powered in the passing game, he's had a pretty good year as well too at running back, 580 yards, over 580 yards, excuse me, and 6 tutties on the ground. While the offense has been something that is a bright spot for Baylor, the defense has been terrible. We talked about it. many, many times before. They've given up actually 24 points or more in 6 out of their last 7 games this year, and they rank basically in the bottom half of every statistical category. So they're going to have to show up um, this year or this next week to see what's gonna go on against Cincinnati. So Cincinnati's entering the game on a 6 game heater. They are also scoring at a clip, scoring 34 or more points in 5 out of their last 6 wins, which is crazy. Their offense has just been very, very efficient. Brendan Sorsby, he has been extremely good, especially at taking care of the football. 17 touchdowns to only 1 interception, which is just absolutely crazy. The wide receiver group has been very good as well too. Let's take a look at their running backs. Evan Pryor and Tawee Walker have just been phenomenal, combining for 794 yards. And then you also throw in Brendan Sorsby, who has 340 yards himself on the ground. And you're looking at one of the most balanced offenses in collegiate football. Defensively, it's kind of crazy. They do remind me of not really the Steelers against the Bengals because the Steelers defense just flat out sucked, but they have a bend but don't break mentality. They're not going to give up too many big shots and they're not going to let you score a lot. So in the categories, they're ranking mid to lower half, but they're only giving up 18 points a game, which is crazy to me because you could look at it through the passing or the run game. They're giving up some good yardage there. So I was surprised by that. Baylor, 126th in the FBS with a -7 turnover margin, which was crazy to think about. On the other hand, the one thing that could help them out in this game, Cincinnati ranks 119th in the FBS with 69.1 penalty yards a game. And they're also last in the FBS in time of possession. But I think they're able to score on a lot of big plays, which, helps that out. They're not holding on to the ball that much. But this game's really, really tricky, Knock. I feel like I was kind of thinking like you, like I really, really like Cincinnati, but I feel like they're due for a letdown game? So I'm not really sure. I'm leaning Cincinnati, even though I think that this could be a letdown spot. But one of the things that I really like is the under in this game of 66 and a half, which is surprising. I know both defenses are kind of crazy, but I could see Baylor struggling a little bit if Cincinnati's going to win. And I could see them winning ugly. So give me the under in this game. And if I'm leaning a certain way, give me Cincinnati.
Yeah, man, I get it. I completely understand. I've probably watched Baylor in almost every game they've played this year. We talk about weird numbers for players. How about Josh Cameron, wide receiver for Baylor, number 34? Dude's
Ugh.
Oh man, he's a stud, man. He's just a freak. They've got Michael Trigg. They've got this guy, like you said, just numerous guys with multiple hundreds of yards receiving. Sawyer Robertson does lead the NCAA in passing yards. He's great. Um, yeah, man, that Baylor defense, they're just putrid. I mean, they're just as bad as you can possibly get. But you know what, Mike? I love your thought process there to the extent of like I think I'm going to have to take Baylor in this one. Brendan Sorsby's so good. This is why I like Brendan Sorsby, right? 17 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he's not out here throwing bubble screens or 30% of his passes behind the line of scrimmage. This dude slings the pill, bro. He throws it around. He's like he's like a street dealer selling Percocets. He just lets him fly, baby. And I love it. It's hard not to. There's, like you said, such a well balanced offense, and it is a spot game. Um, 6 wins in a row is awesome. Cincinnati's also got a couple of tough teams. I think they still play BYU, and they also play Utah as well, if I'm not mistaken. This is a must.
hmm
They could be peeking ahead at the next team. Um, Give me Baylor on the money line. I'm pretty sure it's a toss up, right?
Uh, I have to pull that up. Let me take a look here. The last I looked, it was Cincinnati -5.5. So I would say that they're probably like, I would say Baylor's probably close to like +190. But give me 1 second here to take a look. Why can't I find it now? There we go. Um, +150. Baylor Bears on the money line.
You know
It's
what?
actually moved. It's moved now. It's Cincinnati. When I first looked at this earlier today, it was 5.5. It's at -3.5 right now.
Is it?
So it looks like a lot of people were on Baylor. Yep.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna rescind. I'm gonna rescind to the fans out there. I'm rescinding. Uh, Take Cincinnati. Take Cincinnati.
I like it. Yeah, I think the home field advantage could help out a little bit as well.
Rocking with Mike here, so
Let's go. We'll take it.
I don't usually switch like that, but that scared me. You made me nervous. Damn you.
I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. I'll end it off with my last game here. Another team that we've just kind of kicked around a little bit this season in Texas at Mississippi State. 7.5 point favorite. The Longhorns are. The over-under is at 44.5. I mean, Mike, can you really trust Texas for anything at this point? The beginning of the season, this would have been a cakewalk game on the schedule. No need for Texas to blink. But now, I mean, with how bad, and I mean, really, really, it's an atrocity how atrocious Texas has been. I mean, and how surprisingly well the Bulldogs have played. They've given me hope. Don't give a guy like me hope, Mike. Don't give me faith. Mississippi State will have another reason to ring those cowbells. Do you remember that walk-off versus Arizona State, Mike? Just a,
Hmm.
do you remember Brandon Walker, legend? Because I do. And you know who my legend is? Blake Shapen. QB of the game for this one. 1,400 yards, a little inconsistent, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks. I know he hasn't played well over the last few games, but hey, when you're missing your starting left and right tackle, it's going to be hard for any quarterback to do well, especially when you play against Texas A&M. Um, hey, Texas still has a tough defense, but I'll be honest. At this point, I got no faith, none, just zero faith in the athletes that they have at Texas. I don't even think they're good athletes. They're playing like 3 stars right now. When you have an NFL caliber wide receiver in Brennan Thompson for Mississippi State, there's always going to be life. Texas, they haven't been losing, but they haven't been winning the way we'd like for them to win either. Mississippi State, they've played a pretty difficult schedule over the last 3 weeks. They played Florida, they played Texas A&M, they played Tennessee. They're not a bad team. They just kind of got the shit end of the schedule. Um, the offense for Texas, we talk about them so much, and I guess it's kind of my fault. Again, so bad. If Wisner can't get going out of the backfield, uh, they don't have a shot to win. If Wisner goes for 80 to 100 yards on the ground, and now they can balance it out with Arch Manning, give Arch a little bit of RPO action, let him run for his 35, 40 yards that he does. They'll take care of business and they'll cover the 7.5. I'm kind of screwing myself here. I'm kind of screwing myself here, Mike, because I really like Mississippi State. And Steve Sarkisian's play calling is terrible. It is so bad. And
Yeah.
um, the Bulldogs looked awful versus A&M, but they were missing both their tackles. You know, give me Texas. Give me Texas because I still think one of their tackles is out. And I'm going to take Texas, and I'm going to take Texas to cover. Oh, Lord. I'm not happy. I'm not.
A little nervous about it. Yeah, it is weird, man. It's like I don't know. I see it 0-3 in SEC play, Mississippi State. They've still looked decent. You figure that they gotta get a win, but there's just still something about Texas that like pulls you in, even though they've looked like complete and utter shit on offense more specifically. But then you just think about that defense and like how suffocating they are. And even though their offense plays like shit, you still got a chance because the defense could keep you in that game and make it low scoring. And knock, I'm with you. I really want to take Mississippi State, especially with it being in Starksville and they got the stupid ass bell cows going like crazy. And but I just can't. I got to go with Texas. I feel like this could be a spot where maybe they finally get a blowout win, just beating a down SEC team. But I don't know. You look at it last week, like we said against Kentucky. Kentucky should have beat them, essentially. Like they dominated them. So as much as I hate this game and I don't even know. I'm just going to take Texas with you too. I don't have too much to say.
Let's do it for the fans. I'm going to switch up again. Let's drop our freaking nuts. I'm dropping my nuts because I got a lot of action this weekend coming up. I'm dropping my nuts. I'm switching it up, and I'm taking State money line.
Right, Ryan with Mississippi State.
Logically, Texas to cover isn't bad. I see a lot of people are betting on Mississippi State plus 7.5. But you know what, man? I don't care. I'm betting with my heart. I'm taking them too. I'll throw the bet slip out onto the clip onto the edit. I'll do it. I wouldn't tell the fans to take anything that I wouldn't take myself. Taking it, man. Okay, let's
I
hear.
like it.
I'm switching up, and I'm not gonna do that too often, guys. I don't twice in one episode of me switching who I like. I don't do that. I don't do that.
No, not at all. You usually, what you give out is usually what you stick with, which is crazy. So shout out to you for that. My last game that I'm going to go to, we're going to switch it up. We are going to still stay in Division One, but we're going to drop a level to FCS. We have the 118th meeting between North Dakota State and South Dakota State playing for the Dakota Marker Trophy. I think this is only the 22nd time that it's actually going to be called the Dakota Marker for the most part, so it's relatively new. But what a game we have in store right now. We got number one, North Dakota State, traveling to number two, South Dakota State. This will be the only the fourth time that number one and two have met during the regular season. And two of those games, now three, will be between these two teams, which is crazy. So they've both dominated the FCS level for the past couple of years. Taking a look at this big streak on the line right here. South Dakota State currently has a 33 game home winning streak right now, which is the fourth longest streak in FCS history. So they're going to look to defend the home soil. And North Dakota State is going to want to take that away from them. Again, they're big rivalries, and North Dakota State is building off, a huge national championship run last year to where they actually beat South Dakota State twice in the same year in the rivalry game, and then I believe they beat them in the semifinal playoff game as well too. So they've won the last two meetings. Before that, South Dakota State had won the last five. Also actually beating North Dakota State in the season twice, one for a national championship, which was crazy to think that they were playing in the regular season and saw each other in the national championship. North Dakota State leads the series all time at 65 to 47 and five ties, but it's turning around, man. These teams are both really good. They rank in the top 10 in basically every statistical category for both teams on offense. They just really know how to play physical football. They both can run the ball, they both can pass the ball. It really does not matter between the two teams. So, taking a look at it, let's start with South Dakota State. Chase Mason has just been a complete stud at quarterback. He has 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns, one pick, and then they got a stud running back in Julius Loveridge, 714 yards, six touchdowns. So they have a good mix. They have a good balance here. I feel like in years past that they've really it's been the same thing for them year after year. So I'm not exactly sure what they're going to look to do here. I know North Dakota State's defense has been very tough. They have been stout as well too. They've given up some points early on in the first half, but then they kind of shut it down in that second half too. So we'll jump into that here in a second with what I'm talking about with that. But switching over to North Dakota State, same thing with their quarterback, Cole Payton. He has looked phenomenal, almost the same stats. He has a little bit more passing yards with 1,500, but he also has 11 touchdowns and just one interception. And then Barika Kanipi Kanipu, or I can't pronounce the dude's last name. I'm sorry, guys. I am not a pronunciation guy. 601 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns. Another team that just has a very balanced offense. So you never know what they're going to come at you with. It could be the pass, it could be the run. A lot of these groups like to get fun with their play calling as well too, and get some trickeration. So what I was talking about in terms of North Dakota State's defense, 2 weeks ago they played Southern Illinois, right? The game was tied 17 to 17. You know what the final score was, Knock? 45 to 17 North Dakota State. So they didn't let them score another point in that game. They're both on 7 game win streaks, which is crazy. I don't have any lines specifically for what this game is looking like, but if I'm a betting man, I have to go with North Dakota State just either outright or against the points. They just look so good and so powerful every team that they're playing against, it's like they just put them in a chokehold and they can't breathe against them. I will say, shout out to South Dakota State. They have a sick, sick stadium. They have some great uniforms. I love this matchup. I'm sorry to pick against them. My boy Mason McCormick, right guard for the Steelers. Love him. I love the Jackrabbits, but I gotta go, Jackrabbits, excuse me, but I gotta go with the Bison in this game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm on the other side of the fence here. I want to go back and reiterate, Chase Mason, he's been excellent. He was born an hour away from the university, Mike. I mean, he was born
Mm.
a Jack Rabbit. Something I'll be doing a little later. Uh, Bridge, 714 yards. I don't want to just talk about this season. I want to talk about his career. Again, been with the program for the last, he's a senior this year for the last 3 years. He's rushed for 1,000 yards every season. 929 as a freshman, but I like to round up when you go for 1,100 your next year as a sophomore. The guy's going to go for 4K. 4K in college. That's stellar shit. You know what? Give me South Dakota State, better basketball program. I like my, but I love my Hunnits blue, baby.
I like that. I like that. No, I'm glad that we're kind of picking against each other here. It really has been crazy just looking back at the FCS level and the national championships here. Since 2011, North Dakota State has won 10 national championships in that time span, while South Dakota State has won two. They won back to back in 2022 and 2023.
I found a line. I found a line.
Oh,
I found a line.
how is it on there? What's it say? I can't see.
So South Dakota State or North Dakota State is a 3.5 point favorite. They are minus 192, basically minus 200 on the money line. So they are the favorites.
Okay, I like that. I wish I was really hoping College Game Day was going to go there. I feel like it's always cool whenever they switch it up a little bit. I know someone did say that they have been there a couple of times. I think seven times in like the last 15, 20 years or something. But when you got a number one versus a number two, what's it going to hurt? I love whenever they show a lot of um, I love whenever they show a lot of support for these smaller schools and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. One thing that I am upset about more, I guess, is they have this game on ESPNU. What the fuck?
Saturday.
Throw it on ESPN. Throw it on ESPN2. You can't have this game on ESPNU, bro. You have two of the best programs in recent history in the FCS. I get it's a step below the FBS, but what the fuck are we doing? I hate that.
I'm with that. I'm with that the whole way, bro. I think that game should be re-time slotted. You know what I mean? I mean, it's at 8 o'clock. It's
It's
at,
8 o'clock. Yeah. I mean,
put it on
go
eight.
ahead, Knock. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're good. I was gonna say put it on ABC or something. You know what I mean?
S- Something, bro. I mean, that game is better than Arizona State and Houston. That game is better than Tennessee and Kentucky. That game is better than I can't say LSU and Texas A&M. It damn near could be. I think it's better than Stanford at Miami. I'll tell you that for free. And that's on ESPN at 7. We got Arizona State and Houston on ESPN 2 at 8 o'clock. Take one of those games out and put this game on there. I guarantee there would be more people watching that game than any of these ones that I just named. That's a fact. That is a fact. And I don't care if people are upset about it. I don't care. Uh, so that's our seeing red there for a second. Um, And then, yeah, shout out to you, Tyler. Episode 21, finally legal. Hell yeah, appreciate you, brother. Um, just going over some quick hits here. Excuse me. I don't have too much. One of the craziest things though that I saw, I think this was earlier today. Oh, never mind. It's actually moved down. But Oregon, I like Oregon minus 31.5 against Wisconsin. Wisconsin hasn't scored a point in 2 weeks. And they just suck. I think Luke Fickle is going to be out of a job here shortly. He's not the guy up there in Madison. So give me the Ducks. Any input on that one, Knock? Over under is 44.5 as well. I think Oregon could score that themselves.
How is it so low? Because they don't think. can't. Okay.
Wisconsin can't score shit, bro. They suck.
Yeah, no, it's a no-brainer for me. I want to piggyback off that and stay in the Big Ten here as a quick Minnesota versus Iowa. Minnesota's 9.5 point underdog. Listen, all right, I get it. The over-under's at 38.5. I get it. Iowa's just better now. The offense has been great the last 4 games. Mark Gronowski's played well for Penn State. The rushing attack is back. Iowa, as per usual, great defense. On the other hand, though, Drake Lindsey, good quarterback for Minnesota. He's coming off an upset victory versus Nebraska, which, I mean, what, they stormed the field for Nebraska? Serious. Minnesota, they're riding high, though. 2 straight victories. They're 5-2 on the year. They rely heavily on their defense, ninth in the nation when it comes to sacking the quarterback. Okay. If Minnesota can get up and put Bernowski in a predicament where he has to throw the football, excuse me, Minnesota's not just going to cover the 9.5. They're going to win. Gophers 23 total sacks on the season, like I said. This is going to be a snooze fest. So give me Minnesota plus 9.5 for the fans.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, that over is crazy to look at. 39.5. That looks like an NFL total. I'm just a sicko. I probably would take the over in that game, even though both of these defenses are the strong suit of the teams. Um, Moving over to one of the other games that I wanted to talk about, just because I don't even know if you could really call it a rivalry anymore, but Michigan traveling to East Lansing, taking on Michigan State. Michigan State has been awful this year as well, too. They have 4 straight losses. They're 0-4 in Big Ten play. I think honestly, give me the Wolverines. I think that they could just suffocate them offensively. I know that Chiles, I always mess up his name. Aiden, the quarterback. Say it again. I'm sorry, your mic knock.
Childs, like without like,
Childs, yeah, yep, Aiden Childs. He's like been okay. I think he's going to transfer from out of this program this year. He's from Long Beach, California. He's given them a couple of, 3 years starting last year and this year. I don't know where the hell Michigan State. They're another program that's like, what the fuck happened to you guys?
yeah, dude. You know,
Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker happened.
Tucker. Yeah. Oh gosh, he's been. Listen, I'm glad you pointed this game out. I really wanted to make this one of the games that I spoke about with the fans, but I mean, in all honesty, I can't. I could not bring to do such a disservice to the people who do watch and tune in by telling them to take Michigan State plus 14.5 because I'm riding that high off Stanford last week. It's just not going to happen. I mean, if it does, then good. I just don't see a world or a scenario where Michigan just Justice Haynes just doesn't completely just destroy them. Okay. Michigan State's defense is giving up 38, 38, 41, and I can't even remember the other score, but it was high. I mean, they give up a massive amount of points a game and average 13. This is a no-brainer. Michigan's going to kill them.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we're on the same side there. I was thinking about doing that game as well too. We talked about it a little bit, but I was like, I talked about Michigan, I think last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, so I didn't want to start that up again. Another sneaky, excuse me, sneaky good game this weekend, Knock. I know that you probably will be a fan of this, but South Florida traveling to Memphis. So two teams, Memphis, obviously coming off a disaster loss last week to UAB. I think they were like 24.5 point favorites, maybe even more than that. USF is riding a big high. They're going into that game minus 5.5. Over under is 65.5, or no, 60.5, excuse me. I could see this being a kind of like a get back game for Memphis, but I'm just going to have to keep going with USF. They've been very, very good this year. They have obviously had just that one rough loss to Miami, but I like them minus 5.5, and I kind of like that over just because both teams kind of like they usually do score a decent amount.
Yeah, I'm rocking with you with the Bulls. And again, it's not that Memphis isn't a good team. It's not that a team like Memphis can't come back and beat a team like South Florida. They very well can. It really comes down to the strength of schedule for me, who South Florida has played. Again, I've said it before. When you run into teams like Miami, and then you get stomped after beating Florida, who struggled this year, but they still have great recruits. They still have a lot of talent over there. I think your preparation versus a team like Memphis is a little different. I don't think this is a South Florida team that is sleeping on a Memphis team, though. I think that they are strictly on a mission and they know what the hell they're about. They're going to try to run it down your throat. They can do it multiple ways. Byron Brown or a committee of running backs. And Michigan's got a ton of talent, man. Or not Michigan, I'm sorry, Memphis. Memphis has a ton of talent, man. They're really good. Love the uniforms. I'm rocking with South Florida. I want them to go to the college football playoff, and I will be rooting for them to do so.
I like it, Knock. I like it. I was taking a look at one other game, maybe to highlight. Not really to highlight, it'd kind of be a low light just because both of these teams really do suck right now. I'm talking about Rutgers taking on the Purdue Boilermakers. Both teams are winless in conference play at 0 and 4. Right now, the line is Rutgers minus 1.5 over under 58.5. I don't know if I could side with either of these teams just because they both want to make me throw up, but I kind of like the over in this game, just because they usually do score each game pretty decently, I guess. Not really the last couple of weeks for Rutgers. They've scored 19 and 10. They did play Oregon and get their shit kicked in. So I don't know. Just give me the over for fun in this game. They both suck.
Yeah, I thought, with Greg Schiano being the head coach, I really thought Rutgers would be a team that can attract some better recruits or be just better. Their quarterback, Kalakamankis or whatever his, he's not that
Hmm.
not. I
Hmm.
be a fun one. I'm going to take the over too. This is going to be a good quarterback matchup between these two teams. But you know what? Give me Purdue. Purdue's been in some semi-close losing affairs, I guess.
Yeah, I think last week they lost like 17 nothing or something like that, right?
Yeah, who was that to? Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern. Yeah. Good pull there. Good pull there. You know what's crazy? Fun fact, I'm sitting here looking at the Big Ten rankings and Michigan State 0 and 4, Rutgers 0 and 4, Purdue 0 and 4, Wisconsin 0 and 4, Penn State 0 and 4. Do you know they have two teams that have zero wins against power conference teams right now? You know who those two teams are? Say it again.
State.
Penn State and Wisconsin. Both are without. We're sitting here at October 23rd, week 9, and both of those teams do not, I repeat, do not have a power conference win. That comes against an ACC, an SEC, a Big 10, or a Big 12. Crazy. I'm not even trying to shit on Penn State here. I think that that is nuts.
Not just Penn State. I mean, what happened to the Big Ten as a pro? I mean, I like seeing the ACC be good. I like seeing the Big 12 be good. You know what I mean? So flowers to those programs and those schools. They really have earned it. Obviously, you being a Pitt fan, you see the ACC. That's tough competition, man, and it's slept on competition. The Big Ten is so overrated, but they used to be great. I mean, we're talking about teams like Purdue used to be competitive. They didn't used to be
Hmm.
so horrible. I mean, you never used to see 4 or 5 teams in the same Big Ten conference with no power, no big conference wins. There's no big wins at all. It's just horrible. It's horrible. Shout out Indiana and Oregon. They're running the show. And Ohio State, they're running the show.
Yeah, Ohio State always just running the show. It'll be interesting to see Penn State has a bye this week, and then they got to travel to Ohio State, and then they got to host Indiana, which I don't know if I've ever seen a team have to play 1 and 2 in back-to-back weeks, which is crazy, with Ohio State being the number one ranked team in the nation, and then Indiana being ranked number 2 in the nation. So I thought that that was pretty crazy to see.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's going to put some hair on their peaches.
It definitely is. One other game that I kind of wanted to shout out, just in the Division 2 level, Ferris State is taking on Grand Valley State. That's a huge rivalry. Both of these teams are big players in Division 2 ball. Usually making Ferris State, I mean, is on a 21 game win streak now, I think. So they're going crazy. Grand Valley State is always one of those teams who are ranked in the top 10. I think right now, let me pull this up real quick. Grand Valley State is ranked 18th. They do have two losses. They lost to Saginaw Valley State last week in a heartbreaker and an upset 20-19. So I think Fair State should beat them pretty handily this year, just with them having a down year. But I wanted to make sure we shout those two teams out.
And shout out Wyatt Bowers, the quarterback for Ferris State.
Hmm.
Bowers kid's a stud.
Yep. Yeah, he's the beast.
So, and
Yeah.
before we end it, I brought this gem onto the show. Not a coincidence, by the way. Iowa State's going to beat BYU. Just didn't have the time to talk about it. Upset alert.
Uh, down go the Mormons. Down go the Mormons. That's crazy. I like it though. Iowa State needs they need to get right. They need to get right. They've fallen off the wagon a little bit. BYU's riding the high. I think they're what 7-0 right now as well too, 8-0. Yeah, so
Very good team, BYU.
very, very good team. I could also, yeah, it would be interesting if they went out. I could see them playing against your Cincinnati Wildcats there, seeing what goes on. Bobcats, right? They're Bobcats, yeah. I don't know. Aren't they the Bobcats? What is it? Bearcats, Bearcats. Damn, that was bad of me. I don't know how I forgot that. But yeah, say it
Right.
again.
Stay off that lean. Stay
Phew,
off.
I don't.
No,
Straight water, homie. Um, but all right, as always, we appreciate everybody who's tuning in, showing us love. Make sure you go follow us. We've been doing decent on some numbers over on the TikTok channel there at Sports with Skiz. We're trying to do more news, give you more breakdowns and everything. So go check us out at Sports with Skiz over on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, we're doing 2 shows a week. We do have a very, very special guest for next Tuesday. That should be interesting. Make sure you guys tune in for that. We have a great, great interview coming with a guy that I've spoken to before last year, and he's given us another shot to talk to him this year as well, too. So I won't drop anything too crazy, but make sure you guys tune in. It'll be a great background into a little deep dive of the FCS sports.